I just got done watching Bullet Train, and while this movie is an awesome ride, there's something I like to do before every movie. Is I walk in, I take a picture of the screen, I tweet it out, I say, now watching Bullet Train, but right before I was about to do that, I said, no, instead of saying now watching, I could say now writing Bullet Train. But then I knew someone out there, just someone, would pull Michael Scott and say this.
That's what she said.
What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today we're going to be discussing Bullet Train. This is directed by David Leitch and is about 5 assassins who aboard a fast-moving bullet train to find out that their missions all have something in common. It stars the likes of Brad Pitt, Sandra Bullock, Joey King, Zazie Beetz, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Logan Lerman, Brian Tyree Henry, Michael Shannon, Hiroki Sande, Bad Bunny, and Andrew Koji. Now, there's a lot more to even this cast than I could say, and this cast is absolutely stacked. In fact, walking out of this movie, I'm like, I would absolutely love to see a sequel where it's kind of in the vein of what they're doing with Knives Out. You keep the main character as the main central focus, just as they're doing with Daniel Craig. They're doing, you could do this with Brad Pitt, and give us a whole roundabout of new cast members that fill up those eccentric roles and send us off in our action comedy that we have here. And Bullet Train is exactly that. This is a giant hurrah, and what a great way to kind of end the summer blockbuster, because in a way, while yes, movies were coming back next year, it was still a weird year. Films were going straight on streaming the same day as they were premiering in theaters, and it didn't work for the best, and it didn't really garner people back to the theaters. And then this year, Top Gun comes out and starts bringing back that older movie crowd. Starts getting people back in the theaters. Doctor Strange, Thor, Minions, which broke a lot of stupid records, which makes no sense to me. And Bullet Train being like pretty much the last big blockbuster for 2022 summer box office. I'm not talking about Avatar or Black Panther. Those are obviously going to be more blockbusters coming out. But for the summer season, this is the perfect way to tie up the season. And I had such a blast with this movie. It's not perfect. I have some small little issues with it when it comes down to certain things, but let's just jump right into this. And if you guys are new and you love talking movies, this is certainly the channel for you guys, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I always do early movie reviews over here on a daily basis, plus I love watching TV too, so if you like TV content, this is the right channel for you guys. Make sure to leave your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section as well. Are you excited for Bullet Train? Which of these actors is your favorite? And in fact, if you've already seen the movie, let me know down below your guys' thoughts. Like I mentioned, I do want to start with my pros before I dive into any of my negatives on this movie, because that's my big thing. I'm a huge thing and a huge proponent about film appreciation, and starting with it is hands down the cast of this, because while this movie has a lot of really fun action scenes to it and a lot of great set pieces to it as well, it is the cast here that really brings this movie to life. Now, I'm going to be doing a couple movie shorts on YouTube and TikTok over the next couple of days, talking about, in particular, details on certain characters as we get closer to the release of the film. But hands down, starting it out, Brad Pitt nails this role. He is this he plays Ladybug, a assassin who's kind of out of the game, coming back in. He just wants to be like a peace and love and hippie type dude, but he always has the worst luck where people just seem to die around him. And I thought Brad Pitt just freaking nailed this role. It was so much fun seeing him in this kind of comedic action role, and I could see like 4 more movies with him doing this, because I just had an utter blast with him. And the way the dialogue bounces between him and other people, the stylized way that David Leitch shot this movie really was a big proponent to this all, and Brad Pitt was a huge standout. Sandra Bullock's good. She's not really in it that much, and I can say that for a lot of this cast as well. Zazie Beetz, awesome for the little role that she has, but again, not in it too much. Bad Bunny, same thing. I know a lot of people are like, Bad Bunny, he's really going to be in this. I wasn't that hyped about it. I don't listen to his music. I know a lot of you guys probably do, and I know a lot of people probably going to see this movie will probably just go see him. He is not in it that much. But for the sequence he was in, it's pretty damn cool. Not gonna lie. And does it raise my expectations anymore about that El Muerto movie that he's doing at Sony for the Spider-Man Sony universe or whatever they're doing? No, not really. Doesn't pique my interest too much, but, physicality, I think he'll kick ass in there. But hands down, the 2 big standouts of this entire movie is Brian Tyree Henry and Aaron Taylor Johnson. They play twins in here, Tangerine and Lemon, and God, did they steal so many of these different moments. I can totally see why Sony snatched Aaron Taylor Johnson after seeing a rough cut of this movie and gave him Kraven the Hunter. because he is going to kill it in that role. No matter how the movie turns out, he will be a great Kraven the Hunter. And I loved both of their dynamics. Their chemistry was great. There's this great inside joke about Thomas the Tank Engine with Brian Tyree Henry that just worked so well, and it's relatable. And while not all the jokes will hit, especially if you did not grow up with Thomas the Tank Engine, I did. I grew up with Thomas the Tank Engine, so all those jokes landed for me. But in particular, their two characters, I could totally see. I would love to see like a prequel in the days of when they were first coming up in the assassin world and all sorts of things like that, because they do touch in the backstories, but there seems to be such fun missions that they've gone on before that they only touch on, and I would love to see those adventures with those two characters in particular, and they were easily my favorite aspects of the entire movie. I loved them. Go against the rest of the cast either. I think Michael Shannon's a lot of greatness in here too. Hiroki Sanda, who I think was phenomenal in Mortal Kombat and did an awesome job as Scorpion. I'll be flat out honest, he was more badass in here for the small role that he also had in here. And Andrew Koji, I think, does a really good job. He's one of the more dramatic elements of the entire film, but for the role he had, he was great. And I think that just goes as far as to say this entire cast really works. And while some people will go for some cast members who don't have that much, you're going to come out and be like, dang, these two were big standouts, or that one was a standout. There's going to be someone that you latch onto the most. I think that's just where it goes as far to say that David Leitch's directing is a big standout of this entire movie. Now, I've always thought that he was, it's between him and Chad Stahelski, who are the ones that created John Wick and were very much stunt team members, whether back in the days of The Matrix. And ever since then, he's branched off and done films, like I said, with like Deadpool 2, and even, of course, Hobbs and Shaw, which I enjoy. But I've also never fully enjoyed his departure from that world. And I've always wanted him to kind of go back and do something a little bit different. I enjoyed Deadpool 2, but I didn't love it as much as the first one. Hobbs and Shaw I think's a lot of fun, but it's not one that I like to go back to all too often. This is a movie that I'm excited to go back and watch once again this weekend and go back and just continue to watch it. This is going to be one of my comfort movies for 2022 where I just pop it in and enjoy the hell out of it, because at any point in time you're watching this film, there's something to laugh, be entertained by. And again, a lot of that goes to David Leitch, which I'm hands down ready to say I think this is his best directed film on his own, not including Chad Stahelski. I would still say John Wick is, but David Leitch on his own, this is hands down his best movie yet. And I think Bullet Train is, again, that summer blockbuster you have to see, because every action set piece he puts in here, while it's not one-hand takes or completely things that you would see in the John Wick world, the action is edited and filmed in a way that makes it very entertaining and stylish, and also just fresh. This is an insane, pure adrenaline ride, and a movie that continues to have this, because each and every one of the action set pieces, the way that they fight, whether it's with a briefcase or a water bottle or this, and they play a lot around with Chekhov's gun, which if you don't know what Chekhov's gun is, it's like they introduce something into the story, and somehow, some way that's going to tie in, whether it's at the very end of the movie to the middle of the film. They tie this in very well, and they weave, and a lot of this goes with the script as well. They weave all the stories in a very entertaining manner. Some things a little bit more predictable than others, other things not so much, and you're like, oh, that's cool, I like how they did there. But the Chekhov's gun thing, that was one of the most fun elements, because they introduce a lot of stuff very much at the beginning of the film. But as you go about this giant, long adventure ride on the Bullet Train, you start to go, oh my god, there's that. Oh my god, they have that in their hand. That's going to turn into this. And it really is a fun adventure in the way that it bounces around so much and tells a wildly entertaining story. And I think that's my favorite thing about this, is just how entertaining this movie was. To see how the action scenes were. And, if you've seen the trailer, specifically the final trailer, I'm not going to get into one of the things, but one of the final things that happens, and Brad Pitt's character is doing this thing in the air, it's a ton of fun, and I had a blast with this. But like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I did not think this movie was perfect, so let's dive into my issues with the movie. Flat out, I didn't mention one star in particular, and I don't blame her performance. I think her performance is interesting and entertaining, but I think a younger actress would have worked better in here, and that is Joey King. Joey King is an actress that I've actually really looked forward to. I think she's great in a lot of these different things, and I think the performance and the direction on this performance was a little bit too try hard. Nothing against her. I think she's a great actress, and again, I just think it's really much how they wrote the role. I think a younger actress would have done better in here. Maybe in the same age that Chloe Grace Moretz was when she was first introduced in Kick-Ass, the very first one, when she was that young. I think a role like that actually would have fit here a little bit stronger and would have dove into the dynamic that they were trying to do. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but every time, you know, you have so many characters in here. That was the one character subplot that I really, every time I went to, it felt like the pacing dragged just a hair. And to be honest, going even a little bit deeper, I understand why you had to have her to set up certain things, but I would have liked a little bit of a script rewrite there to make it a little bit more interesting, because it was easily the only thing that dragged the movie down, which leads me to my last issue, is the pacing. The pacing is honestly very entertaining, but with the runtime, I feel like you could have scraped at least 10-15 minutes out of this movie, and it would have made for a perfect action comedy. And other than that, that's about it. I had so much fun with Bullet Train, and I think a lot of you guys are going to be doing the same. That's where I just go as far to say Bullet Train is awesome. This is the last big ride for the summer that brought back the movie theater experience for so many people, and what a film to end on. It's wildly entertaining from top to bottom that consistently gives you laughs, action, and insanity. This film feels tailor-made for me. Besides it having some rough little patches with one little subplot, the runtime is almost, you know, there. But this is a film that I just had such a joy with. All the characters are so much fun, well, for the most part, and specifically Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry absolutely steal the show. The only thing I wish is I never saw a trailer for this movie. Wish specifically the final one. The final one ruins a lot of great moments, and that's probably my only other issue. But that's not an issue with the film, it's more with the marketing. Other than that, I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts on Bullet Train, and that's why I'm going to give Bullet Train an A-. And this movie was absolutely just tailor-made for me, and I had so much fun with it, guys. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. Leave your thoughts! Comment those thoughts, and make sure to look out for a lot more early reviews coming up soon. Guys, thank you so much again for watching this, and of course, make sure to head on over to Sam's Films on how to see films early. But of course, until next time, stay classy.